changing that to guardianship if I'm going to, you know, when I take them to the vet, if I have to, and I do take animals sometimes to the vet, and I have to take a copy of that with me to the vet to show that I have permission. And I don't know now if that's going to be okay if we change it to guardianship. So this is a big deal for me. And I didn't know anything about this. I was out of state for a while. I don't get the paper and all of that. I'm not online and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I'm here tonight. But that's why I wanted you to see all of that. You know, it's a big thing. And I would think the vets would have the same problem. People have to sign over when they take their pet to the vet. You have to sign as an owner. So I would think they'd have the same problems. I'm surprised they're not here tonight. Well, there's Sadie. Thank you.
Well lit at the end. Further public comment? If you want to be next, maybe you could move around and stand over by the archway.
John Graff, speaking for Employers Council, I guess, of Mendocino County. I think that one definition that needs to be looked at is the word govern, because that's what the City Council is supposed to be doing. You know, we're talking about a time here where money's been tight and staff's overworked, and yet we've spent a good deal of time and energy on this issue. I just feel like it's a violation of a lot of things. It doesn't make any sense to me why we're here. I can go purchase a dog and pay $2,000 for it, and that would, in my mind, make me an owner. But if I live in this city of Ukiah, then if this ordinance goes through, then I'll be a guardian. You know, example of maybe to go somewhere else with this to try to point out why this doesn't make any sense is if a husband beats his wife or a boyfriend beats his wife, it's still bad to beat your wife or your girlfriend. And my point with that is I don't see how anything is going to get corrected by changing a name. I mean, the reality of it is that it's the act of abuse that's wrong, and that should be penalized, and we don't have to change our American way of life with the name in the city of Ukiah, because we have a few people that have done a very good job of marching some great-looking children in here with stuffed animals and getting your attention. I think we need to govern what we need to govern and focus on business in the city.
Good evening. My name is Ann Koch, and I'm a member of the rescue community. I'm not affiliated with any particular group or anything like that. I do not live in the city of Ukiah. However, I train dogs within the city of Ukiah. You know, like anybody else in Mendocino County, Ukiah is the big town. So I am involved in that way, and I spend my money here. I'm not in favor of this word change. I feel that there is truly a difference throughout hundreds of years of history between the terms owner and guardian. And I don't feel that changing these words is going to have any effect on the people whose behavior we're trying to modify and make them more aware of taking care of animals in a proper manner. The people who are gangbangers and have dog fights aren't going to care whether we call them a guardian or an owner. I'm also concerned about whether or not if my dog bites somebody in the city of Ukiah, who owns my dog? Do I own it, or does the city of Ukiah own it? But I think that Mr. Rappaport has kind of addressed that. I think it's a mistake to do this, and I would like to see animal abuse laws vigorously vigorously enforced on people who mistreat animals. Thank you.
We are assuming that somewhere between 6 and 15 people are interested in commenting here.
I'll
say something. My name's Lisa Mamina, and in 1994, the year of the dog, I moved to Mendocino County to start the Milo Foundation. Milo Foundation is a nonprofit animal rescue group, and it still has some presence in Willits. It has a greater presence in the Bay Area. I didn't choose to move to Willits. Willits chose me, and I still feel that way. When we decided to do the Milo Foundation and rescue animals, we asked for a place on the planet that needed our work, and it turned out that Willits needed us to come and educate people about animals. Oftentimes, the way we got the animals at the Milo Foundation was they would get dumped in a box on the end of the road. We get calls daily about rescuing various sundry of dogs and cats. And in the process, I realized that my mission wasn't about rescuing animals. No matter how much money or time or talent we put towards rescuing the animals, what we were really doing was educating the people. And that was started in 1994. So to answer Councilmember Landis's question, I think that the education is an ongoing process. So I do hope that the awareness, no matter what the council decides to do with the information that you've been provided, the awareness that it's brought, I disagree with Mr. Gott that it is a waste of time, but that it's bringing together an issue that a number of people need to address. And I think that animal education remains very important in Mendocino County. And at the same time, you can see where animals are heavily relied upon in Mendocino County to herd cattle and to do work and to guide people. I also tend to remember, and I probably am wrong exactly on my dates, that shortly either before or after I moved here, that they were still sending animals from the local animal shelter to the labs. I think they were beagles at the time that they were sending from our shelter. And I don't think they do that anymore. And I think that that's also part of the educational process, that people that came before Bliss Flesher, who's there now, and Sage Mountain Fire. I mean, look at the classifieds and see that Sage Mountain Fire has done a tremendous job of educating the public on the need of not buying, not breeding, but adopting the animals that are there. So I think that the consideration that's been given here tonight is a part of the educational part. And I think that if the council were to, and I'm sure you have, pay attention to the information that's been brought to you, the professional information that's been brought to you, and also realize that, like many of the issues that cities are faced with, other cities have already fought this fight. They've already decided to go with owner or guardian or owner/guardian, and I think that we could learn a lot from the list of cities that I'm sure that you are provided with that have already made that decision. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next comment.
Hello, good evening, Mayor Baldwin and City Council members. My name is Megan Nguyen, and I'm a 10th grader at Developing Virtue Secondary School. I'm not sure if that qualifies me as a resident in Ukiah, but I go to boarding school there, so yeah. I'm here before you today to speak up for the ones who cannot. Dogs and cats are living beings, and they have a beating heart and a thinking mind, just like we do. Although their brain capacity is not superior as the human mind, we are all living beings. In this life, we see movies, commercials, and advertisements about dogs and cats with their families, and they are depicted as happy and cheerful. But not all families and dogs are like that. The reality is that some dogs and cats are abused and are abandoned. They are beaten, starved, and even verbally abused. Aware that these animals cannot respond and retaliate back at these abusive statements, people take even more advantage than necessary to the point where